Cheers, aka Patters. Well, here it is. Welcome back to the drawing table. My life, my pain, the pain of the drawing board. CRYPT. A lot of you may just know CRYPT from an action figure and a 2-issue miniseries by Extreme Studios. If we read this, we're going to get callbacks to Extreme Sacrifice and a few issues of Prophet Volume 1. And just a fair warning, everyone, this is the stack we have to go through before we even get into CRYPT. So, Prophet Volume 1. But Shelby's our artist for CRYPT number 1, and he's very much on par with Pat Lee at the time. I think Shelby's more advanced, to be very honest. Pat Lee's strong suit is, you see it here. You see it with the vehicle. Like, that vehicle's just really nice. AKA Patters, check out my 90s action figure. Tom McFarlane Toys, or McFarlane Toys, Rob Liefeld, and Stephen Platt's CRYPT. This is my drawing table mascot. And a lot of you guys that joined me on videos and some of my live streams before, I like to show off this guy because what he represents about 90s comics is everything that this channel is about. But we gotta talk about the CRYPT comic books, right? Don't we? Alright, so how about this? How about a poorly lit introduction for my drawing table that I do feel is fitting and perfect when it comes to discussing CRYPT. And we're going to hit the drawing table. We're going to go through issues 1 and 2. We also have a pile of related comics to CRYPT issue 1 and CRYPT issue 2. Drawn by Shelby Robertson, who is, alive and active, and the growth that Shelby has had is one of the greatest of his eras, unheralded. And then we have, who draws issue 2? Mark Pagelero. We get 2 separate artists, Chap Yap cover, so-and-so Chap Yap cover, well colored, by the way, and then not so well colored. So these are all of the things we're going to discuss when we hit the drawing table. And if you're new here, subscribe and support, leave a comment. If you don't know who I am, I'm Peter A. DeLuca, aka Pad69, and known over there, that's Philadelphia. The Philadelphia skyline is right there. You know how much you gotta pay a month to get a view like this in Philadelphia? Well, anyway, from Philadelphia, PA, Europe, and the vast multiverse known as the Eclectic One, in some tight circles, the pop culture Pope. People, let's talk some 90s comics. Let's talk Rob Liefeld. Maybe, should we even do a video? The rift between Rob Liefeld and Stephen Platt. That's a freaking video. But for now, let's just talk about when they were friends and CRYPT. Here we go, aka Patters. Welcome back to the drawing table. It's CRYPT Day. We have a giant stack. I'm just going to maybe preview some of this. We have a lot to go through. We even had Prophet Volume 2 here. Where do we go? Where do we start with CRYPT? Do we start with the transition? And I will say the expertise rollout of the Extreme Universe crossovers. Do we go into Stephen Platt, who in my view, he created CRYPT, right? Rob Liefeld historically now has a big beef with Stephen Platt. He doesn't, I don't think Rob Liefeld will sign any Stephen Platt books from Extreme Studios. There's some beef between the two. And we have to kind of say, Platt was Rob Liefeld's greatest asset, greatest pickup, workhorse. And he gave the studio, even of this era of Image Comics, one of the best villains. I think at this point, just going through everything I'm about to present, I pretty much convinced myself that this is the greatest Image villain of all of them. So much so, I ordered a bunch of figures off of eBay, just so we can all sit down. That you, me, the AKAPAD army, we can just all sit down and open this guy because I want all the accessories. Look at the Stephen Platt bullet holes here. That's just Platt here. The veins are Platt. The proportions are Platt. The wrinkles coming from the crotch, Stephen Platt. And when it comes to Rob Liefeld retconning his own history, his revisionist podcast, Robservations, the contributions of Stephen Platt to Extreme Studios is left out. So that's a good segue. Let's just start there. So Stephen Platt, a lot of people remember him as only doing a few issues of Prophet. He did covers. This is for Images of Tomorrow, another Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee connection. We are preparing a giant Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee wins video, by the way. So let's just get back to those crotch wrinkles right here. Maybe you guys can see that. And the contributions were huge. Rob Liefeld, to get books done on time, him and Jim Lee were pretty good with sharing duties. You would get a lot of books, thick books, thin books, and everyone in the studio would participate in getting the book done. This method kept them afloat. And Rob Liefeld was smart enough to really open with Stephen Platt. Because Stephen Platt has an eye for imagery, for design, for wow pages, and he evolves. His absolute height is with Top Cow Productions' Soul Saga. And we just say, like, he develops a good sense of design. If we get into his, let's just turn the page here. Let's get into the previous page, because I like that one. I just want to showcase how well his instincts evolved. I think this is a good spread here. Prophet issue 4. This is his introduction to the Extreme Universe. Previously, we got Lucky. Stephen Platt was able to do, at the time, contributed as one of the first variant covers. Prophet number 4. The Stephen Platt cover. Platt has only done the interiors. I mean, the cover. His first interior effort is absolute madness. You can just imagine the hours per page. It's of legend now how much Platt was getting per book. He was getting well over like 1K a page. He was maybe getting about 2K a page. $2,000 a page. But we get this like muddiness. And Platt kind of, like, you can kind of see the printing of some of these pages. I mean, that's a big margin. And we want to say that they're not controlling how Platt is laying out his artwork on the original page, because this is shrunk here because those were the best proportions. So we get these margins here. But Platt, pretty much, you can kind of see it here. Like, he almost confuses himself, and he doesn't back away. And the inking is confused. The coloring is confused. All the departments are confused with how to handle Stephen Platt because his rendering is so insane. The printing is challenged. You can go through a couple. I always buy this. I have a little bit of a stack of them because the printing on Prophet 5 varies. And you kind of want to get a good printing of Prophet 5 because of Stephen Platt's blacks. His blacks kind of, like, they're blotchy. So even during the birth of the digital age of comics, digital printing, digital coloring, digital pre-press, we're evolving out of Cork Express, if you guys are familiar with that application. Stephen Platt was ahead of all the technology, even during a technology boom of American comic books. But Platt evolves. He becomes a storyteller. I believe the crest of his wave crashes with Soul Saga, upcoming from Top Cow Tuesday, but you have to wait for that. And when Platt takes over Prophet, he's with the book until volume 2. And we have some issues here. This is one of my all-time favorite Chromium covers, because it's the birth of Prophet. Prophet kind of is a man of the future, right? And he has a war he's fighting against Lord Darkthorn and these disciples. And he's sent from the future, very much like Cable, very much like Terminator. Rob Liefeld likes to act like he invented the man out of the time. But see, like he's fighting these robots that are called the disciples. And they're from Darkthorn. And Lord Darkthorn stems from Rob Liefeld's Youngblood. Right here, we have an advertisement for the Youngblood cartoon. And Rob Liefeld was really good. Like, look at the artwork here. That's just bonus artwork that Rob look. Weisenfeld, who gets into Wildstorm Productions and does huge work there. Murat Michaels, Jeff Matsuda. Liefeld just incorporated, he was really good with just getting people involved with the book and characters. Extreme Talent Search. And here's the wild thing, everyone. I do not own an issue of Prophet #1. I don't know why. I don't. And yeah, we have coupons here for Prophet 0. Like, I always loved the foil here for these coupons. Yeah, you get 4 of them, and you could mail away, and you would get Prophet 0 here. And I'm not exactly sure. Maybe this did hit retail. This is $2.50. Maybe there's two different versions of that. One retail, one not. So while Platt is on Prophet, Rob Liefeld, These Are the New Men, becomes a regular book with Todd Nook. Bloodstrike with Carl Allister, he becomes regular. And Rob Liefeld was the only individual of his studio not regular. But the boys got to work. And so what work did the boys get to? We get Extreme Prejudice. This is, Gravity? This is the father of Battlestone and his brother. Battlestone from Brigade. And, his brother is Bloodstrike. Coupon. So how to get a copy of Extreme Prejudice 0. I'm not sure I've ever seen Extreme Prejudice 0. I have to hunt that down. So Extreme Sacrifice parlays into, or Extreme Prejudice segues into Extreme Sacrifice. And these are like the themes. Like, look, Bloodstrike, 18 and 19. So everything surrounding Extreme Sacrifice that we already kind of went over a little bit, but not page by page. Extreme Sacrifice, you have plus issues from the Prophet end. So we get Prophet, like, I want to say 7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, 9, and 10. So these 3 issues segues into Extreme Sacrifice Part 7 that's in here. We have a prologue and an epilogue issue. So issue like 1 and 0 kind of. And then we have, for every single title, we have the aftermath. So how many how big of a story? See, we have Youngblood, Chapter 0, and then Extreme Sacrifice Epilogue. The monthly books, look, Extreme Sacrifice Prelude. So we have +1, +1, +1, +1. That's 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 extended issues, along with the 3 extended issues of Prophet. So this becomes very meaty. And then everything from Extreme Sacrifice segues into Extreme Destroyer. Now, these separate storylines are not linked. Extreme Prejudice is more or less against Gravity. I think Gravity's the father's name. I forget his name. Jeez. But this kind of really was more of mutant liberation front, mutants versus mankind type story that is set up in the pages of Youngblood. And then Extreme Destroyer here, wrapping it up. And we will detail Extreme Destroyer separately, because I'm kind of right there with this being maybe Rob Liefeld's greatest illustration effort as a storyteller. This is substantial. And then look, we have the Youngblood advertisement. And the centerpiece of all of the Youngblood figures is CRYPT. Amazing, right? So, who exactly is CRYPT? Well, CRYPT is Prophet. CRYPT is Prophet, and Prophet is CRYPT. I'm going to show you guys the first appearance of CRYPT. And when I was younger, I would just stare at this. So we get a full issue of Prophet. We get the introduction of Judas. Judas is our title character for the CRYPT series. So we set it up in Prophet 7. We have a giant crossover. And then we get to see the finale of the Judas character. But we get the introduction of Judas. Lord Darkthorn here. This is the guy that creates the apocalyptic dark side feature. And Prophet is trying to prevent that. But we get this like crazy effing issue. Prophet versus Kirby. Right? Friends, allies, combatants. This is Doc. So Prophet's like powered by a floating satellite. Again, not a very original idea from Mr. Liefeld, but this works. Doc is a acronym. And then here, see, we get the Kirby and Prophet walk into the distance. We get snow. Then this portal opens up and CRYPT just crashes out of the portal in full war. Ninja stars, gun shells, arrows, grenades. His signature battle axe, signature shield. You see, his back is littered with arrows. And he's here on the profane crusade to bind the unsuspecting in the shroud of oblivion. For that is the destiny of CRYPT. Really good stuff. Look, we get this like same Keith wannabe fan art. And we're still pushing Prophet in, you know, we'll call it like the Dane Panosian era. And then we get this amazing advertisement for Extreme Sacrifice. And this, I'm not joking, AKAPADers. I believe this has a tour edition also. So they promoted the hell out of this. You were hyped. This was nothing but exciting. Now, toothbrush of truth here. A couple things always bother me. I don't care. This is my channel. I get to go off on things. The black stroke here, or outline, but we call it a stroke, for the lettering, doesn't, but the blood dripping, it's like beveled, embossed, like this is called pillow embeveling. But the black doesn't showcase anything. Like it doesn't contour the blood. It's like the blood's like flowing over the line. Like there should be no black stroke here, or everything gets a black stroke, or we drop a shadow in back of everything. This always bothered me. Great idea. Execution could be a little bit better. Like just talking to you guys, I just want to grab a marker and, you know, like just complete some of this, like right here. Like I just want to do that. Just want to do that. I just think it looks so much better, doesn't it? Look at that M. Just looks better. And then we get a nice ad for Kurt Busiek, Rob Liefeld, Youngblood Year One. Never comes out. Rob Liefeld promoted a couple Youngblood projects that never happened, and people are still scorning him for those projects never happening. I believe he did showcase or posted the script by Busiek, but the other one was like Youngblood Jim Shooter. That never happened. So we get the first appearance of CRYPT. And then we kind of march into Extreme Sacrifice. We get somewhat, I guess, like the classic Prophet, Bloodstrike, War Games crossover, where the art direction for the green glow, like of the sewer, is just awesome. But then we don't know what to do with some of the coloring choices here. Like the blood's supposed to be running. So, and these are two guys that just essentially like cannot die. We have a moment here. I don't know if other YouTubers picked, but this is from the movie Excalibur. Zack Snyder's like favorite movie. This is from Excalibur. The spear, the two soldiers forcing each other closer while being spears through the gut. And then we get Pat Lee and Stephen Platt. And Pat Lee still owes people money through Dreamwave Productions, but the company goes bankrupt and not the individual, right? And yeah, we get this like dream sequence. Very much like Empire of the Strikes Back. This is Luke in the cave where he sees himself as Darth Vader. Prophet sees this shrouded figure and then reveals himself to be CRYPT, and Prophet wakes up. And we get, you know, some of these movements. Look at this awesome vehicle right here. They're like, oh, they never drew vehicles in this era of Image Comics. But yeah, we get like a well-drawn issue. And Platt did some stuff, you know, like he got work done. Like Platt's very much like Shelby over here. Sorry, did we lose Prophet issue 1? I think we lost Prophet CRYPT issue 1, guys. Right here. So Shelby, who is still in the game today, maybe there's like a video coming about Shelby. But Shelby's our artist for CRYPT #1, and he's very much on par with Pat Lee at the time. I think Shelby's more advanced, to be very honest. Pat Lee's strong suit is, you see it here. You see it with the vehicle. Like, that vehicle is just really nice. And then, you know, Pat Lee is a gear guy. So he draws good gear and good tech. But, you know, like, again, when it comes to new young talent, you gotta make a bet. And Pat Lee's the one that really broke out. Becomes a, you know, pretty much becomes a millionaire overnight with his Dark Minds. Also through Image Comics, that created Dreamwave, and through Dreamwave, they acquired the rights for Transformers and created the 2000s, 80s comic book. We'll call it a reboom. And now we're kind of going through another period of that. But yeah, we tease CRYPT, we get more info. The storm is coming. And then issue 7 here, right? Issue 10. Sorry, issue 10. Yeah, we're fully into Extreme Sacrifice right now. Extreme Sacrifice. I always hated these blur circles here. It looks like it's like a pamphlet you would get in a church. But yeah, it breaks everything down. CRYPT is front and center. Lord Chapel. So we already kind of look in the story thus far. How perfect is that? This is not in the trade, by the way. And this is where CRYPT really becomes like the villain. He clears the room. Stephen Platt shows off. I mean, look at the shading of this steel ball here. It's awesome. Like, I always like this. I don't know why. That's just like comic book cool stuff. It's just comic book cool stuff. Like, beyond. I love it. And yeah, like, this is CRYPT's moment to shine. Like, CRYPT really, I mean, like, look at the one-to-one. Look at the one. When they sculpted this is their reference, right? It had to be. And CRYPT, basically gets decapitated. And at this point, we know that the two of them are kind of linked. They're kind of the same. This was an image you got a lot of, too, at the time. I want to say this was also previewed maybe in Wizard Magazine or Hero Illustrated. But I would stare at this. Because I love the way how Platt, like, again, like, I guess pretty much Platt used fine liners. But just the way he broke it up here and broke it up at the top. Some people might call this like triple lighting. In my view, it's like, if you consider that the quad is rounded, there's like 4 or 5 points of light here. It's not triple lighting. It's not. I've said that in the past. I retain it all. It's multiple lights. Multiple lights. We're building up Glory. Upcoming video on Glory. Glory was better than Wonder Woman easily at the time. Joe Duffy, amazing work. Amazing work as a writer. Previously on this channel, we did a box break of the Extreme Studio Skybox trading cards. So, CRYPT dies. Chapel inherits Hell. Almost takes over Earth. The Chapel stuff, through extreme sacrifice, stems from the baptism of fire. So, this is like an inner Youngblood crossover that CRYPT is pretty much in the middle of. But we get like CRYPT and Chapel for about 2 years, really becoming like the New World Order. They're like the NWO of all of Image Comics. They're like just breaking all of this status quo and procedure and doing things that Marvel and DC are not even close to catching up on. This is the strength of Rob Liefeld at this time as a character creator, a publisher. If he was running the checks and balances and he gave a thumbs up on things, he gave a thumbs up on a lot of good stuff and the talent to execute. So these are the things as a publisher you don't know, you can't anticipate, you don't know what to get into when you start out. These guys went from 0 to this in like 24 months. Jim Lee was trying similar things. So a part of this upcoming video too, we're going to be doing Rob Liefeld versus Jim Lee. This is a part of that conversation. Rob Liefeld's intercompany crossover success versus Jim Lee's. And Jim Lee's are tough. They are tough. So we get into this like epilogue. So now we add 2 more issues to Extreme Sacrifice. Extreme Sacrifice has got to be 30 issues. To highlight Shelby real quick. Shelby kind of, here's London Night. Fantastic black and white artwork. We highlight Shelby because he absolutely has a growth to this day. Of all of his contemporaries that came out of Extreme Studios, Shelby's growth. I love Dane Panosian's growth. I love Dane Fraga's growth. But Shelby's right there with those guys. And there's a big Stephen Platt influence here. Right? Huge Stephen Platt influence. But, Shelby's just going to keep going. And he has so much on social media. He's documented so much. And I'm 50-50 on doing a video on Shelby period. Because number one, no one would do that except for me. And number two is he kind of has a history of disparaging Rob Liefeld Extreme Studios, but later to get rehired by Rob Liefeld for some work. And who knows if that was ever addressed. I can only tell you guys what I remember. I believe I have screenshots, I believe, of some of those comments, Shelby. But I don't want to just make a video to go after him. But I feel like if I'm talking about Shelby, I cannot not bring that stuff up. Because, yeah, we do a lot here. So, what's the story? 30 minutes in, guys. Cheers for sticking with me. What's the story? Judas, who is a disciple of Prophet, becomes a disciple of CRYPT. Same person. Okay? Keep that in mind. After he gets beheaded, she tracks down his body and captures his essence. And then as a backup, a shrouded figure captures more essence. Yes, this is just like the Dark Crystal. And then essentially, we flash back to her turning and becoming subservient to CRYPT. We cut to the present. We cut to the past, Prophet training. She's sneaking into this laboratory. Again, very much of a Rob Liefeld Extreme Studios trope. We're always sneaking into laboratories or some type of complex, like military complex. But we go back and forth. And we're in the past, we're in the present, we're in the future. And she essentially finds a clone, a Prophet, and gives that clone to Prophet. See, she sees it becomes CRYPT, and he absorbs the essence, and then CRYPT emerges, slaughters the room, and then we get the shrouded figure. Now, he's not called Prophet, they call him Absolution, which is amazing. CRYPT disappears, takes the babe over her shoulder, they disappear. And then Absolution is revealed to be Prophet. For some reason, I always dug the effect here. This coloring effect. I don't know why. And the little, like, halo light. So let's jump into the future. So now we're, like, in the future. This is what I mean. Like, this gets me excited. And I feel like I'm not doing some of this justice, because we just had a 30-minute introduction of CRYPT. But this is awesome. We get a 2-issue epilogue to Extreme Sacrifice. And one of those 2 issues is now going to 2043 AD, Sea of Fire, Nevada. And we get a glimpse of the time that, like, before Prophet kind of goes back in time to where we are introduced to him in Youngblood. All right, AKAPAD. Let's add one more book to all of this. Rob Liefeld, Youngblood, issue 2. First appearance of Prophet. We get the Berserkers. And then here's Lord Darkthorn. And then Prophet, Berlin, East Germany. And then here we go. All right. So we kind of want to say, like, this version of the Prophet, we are to witness, like, his figuring out the timeline. We will do it. We will do a more of a detailed figuring out / analysis of this, because I believe that this version of Prophet is this version. Let's get back to that amazing chromium cover. But then we would later have it be revealed that Prophet is a Rome, Imperial Japan, the future, Space Prophet. Always like that story, by the way, guys. Right? And Prophet becomes like a soldier of time. Thanks to the amazing work. Where's he at? Chuck Dixon. Where is Chucky Boy? Chuck Dixon. Who Rob Liefeld tried to bring on to the Rebirth Captain America Reborn. But then, that's weird comments on both ends for that exchange. I believe this is this version. So we'll say like Extreme Universe 616 Prophet. But we're in the future, and we see, like basically how Judas here turns against Prophet to join CRYPT, and it's all the same stuff that we've seen in many of the Extreme books. Judas is betrayed by Prophet, left for dead, and she joins CRYPT. Period. And Prophet's, we'll say his like inner circle reveal, they're like, look, we have this device. If you kill CRYPT, this device can destroy the rest of his essence. Prophet's like, I'm in, but then like absorbs the essence, right? Absorbs the essence though, and then goes to fight CRYPT, and CRYPT's like kind of final boss, right? He's waiting for him, and then they fight Judas. So CRYPT like slipstreams Prophet and himself and Judas to where Judas was left for dead by Prophet. And as they're fighting, and it's so funny, as I was reading this, where is it? Like they kind of fight, and you see this bicycle, and you're like, what the hell? Like, but we're going through some of these flashbacks. Some of these flashbacks are explaining everything. Like Judas is, you get the sense Judas is a tortured soul. And then we get this right here. So the bike, right? If I could get the original artwork for these 2 pages, I would pay. I would pay for them, because this is so, I love it. Prophet gets punched. The bike kind of breaks his fall. The bike sickle. Then we get this Prophet. I found this for you in the ruins of the old city. I hope you like it. Thank you, Uncle Jonathan. And then we have the bike right here. Prophet is basically dying. Judas now like gets her wake-up call because she sees Prophet dying next to the bicycle that he gave her. But in this panel, looks way more huge. Because you gotta imagine, Prophet's like huge. He's like 5 football players, 5 linebackers, and 1 mass of a human being. And CRYPT kills Judas and remains alive. So Prophet dies, Judas dies, and CRYPT still has his essence. And you're like, damn. In beginning, he protected me and raised me the way father would a daughter. We were a family. Go with courage. This is after CRYPT kills Judas. Go with courage, Judas. There are worse things than death. Besides, eternity awaits your coming, and as it awaits the coming of its master. So, Prophet's like infinitely cloned, right? Like, and this is where CRYPT issue 2 like pretty much segues into Prophet volume 2 issue 1, where we kind of see, but this is a different Prophet though, because he's been rebirthed, he's been recloned. Like again, like look at this, is amazing here. All the versions. We even get like a Bethlehem shepherd Prophet. I need this. I need to see this. I need to see Prophet with the stick, like just killing Israelites. I don't know, whoever he would kill in Bethlehem.